Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving right into Chapter 2, Introduction to Database Management Systems. We're going to go way beyond just memorizing textbook definitions here. We're actually going to discover how these invisible systems keep the entire modern world running. So let's figure this out together. Here's our quick roadmap for today. First, the data overload problem. Then, data versus information. Third, enter the database. Fourth, meet the DBMS. Fifth, advantages in the real world. And finally, we'll wrap up with a board exam cheat sheet.
All right, Section 1, the data overload problem, managing the chaos.
So think about this for a second. How would you manually track the details of every single train passenger in the entire country? Just imagine the absolute nightmare of that manual data entry. We're talking millions of passengers daily, right? They all need seat numbers, destinations, payment statuses, meal preferences. You would literally have paper ledgers stacked to the ceiling. It would take a lifetime just to find one missing ticket among millions of pages. And you know, when you realize humanity generates quintillions of bytes of data every single day, you quickly see how fast our world would just completely grind to a halt without modern systems.
And look, this chaos, it isn't just isolated to trains. It is a daily information overload happening everywhere. Imagine a school trying to track thousands of student grades and attendance on paper. Or a bank managing millions of account balances that are changing every single second. Or consider the incredibly high stakes of hospital records. I mean, one misplaced allergy note could be absolutely disastrous. Manual management at this colossal scale, it's practically impossible.
Moving on to Section 2, data versus information, making sense of things.
Okay, let's look at data. Data is a collection of raw facts and figures that, by themselves, may not have a complete meaning. Raw facts. That is the absolute key phrase here. If I just walk up to you and say, Rahul, 101, 85, Pune, it sounds like total nonsense, right? On its own, a raw piece of data essentially lacks the context we need to actually understand it.
Now, let's contrast that with information. Information is processed and organized data that is meaningful and useful for decision-making. Processing is where the magic actually happens. It takes those random facts, organizes them, and gives them a real purpose. Information is what actually allows us humans to make smart decisions.
This is that true aha moment. Look at the difference. We start with completely meaningless raw data. Rahul, 101, 85. But when we organize it, boom, we have information. Rahul, whose roll number is 101, scored 85 marks. Suddenly, there's context. We actually know Rahul is a student, and hey, he aced his test. By simply organizing the raw data, we've created genuinely useful information.
Section 3, enter the database, creating order.
So, the answer to keeping track of all this? It's a database. A database is an organized collection of related data that can be easily accessed, managed, and updated. Think of it this way. A database is not some digital junk drawer where you just throw files to be forgotten. No way. It's an incredibly organized system designed specifically so you can instantly access what you need, update it on the fly, and manage it completely cleanly.
Check this out. Our friend Rahul is now perfectly organized right alongside his classmates, Priya and Amit. Because this data is related and structured, a teacher who's looking for, say, who scored a 91 in class 11 can instantly see it was Priya. It brings total, perfect order out of all that chaos. So, you might be wondering, why go through all this trouble? Well, because it solves our initial nightmare. Databases let us store massive amounts of data without taking up any physical space. We can retrieve information basically at the speed of light, update records with a single keystroke, stop accidental duplications, like booking the same train seat twice, improve accuracy, and above all, keep our data locked down and completely secure from prying eyes.
All right, Section 4. Meet the DBMS, the ultimate manager.
Enter the Database Management System, or DBMS. This is the software used to create, store, organize, retrieve, update, and manage databases. Think of it kind of like this. If the database itself is a massive, complex digital filing cabinet, well, the DBMS is the super efficient assistant standing right in front of it. You don't have to go rummaging through the cabinet yourself. You just ask the assistant and they fetch exactly what you need perfectly every single time.
Here is how it actually works in practice. Step 1. The user gives an instruction, like a bank teller typing in your account number. Step 2. The DBMS processes that request, translating exactly what the teller wants. Step 3. The operations are performed on the database. The DBMS grabs your specific balance from the cabinet and brings it right back to the screen. It is literally the ultimate middleman making the whole ecosystem function.
And you know what? You are actually interacting with these assistants every single day, often without even realizing it. Popular software platforms like MySQL, Oracle Database, Microsoft SQL Server, PostgreSQL, SQLite, and Microsoft Access, these are the heavy hitters. Whenever you load a social media app, buy something online, or register for a class, one of these is usually running right behind the scenes, processing your instructions.
Section 5. Advantages in the real world. As you'll see, the DBMS perfectly solves information tracking across entirely different industries. In schools, it manages student records. In hospitals, it tracks critical patient histories. Over in banks, it calculates customer accounts securely. In libraries, it logs book management. And in railways, it ensures your ticket reservation actually gets you a physical seat on the train. When it comes down to the fundamental power of the DBMS, these are the key benefits you absolutely need to remember. Organized data storage, lightning-fast data retrieval, incredibly easy data modification, robust better security, reduced data redundancy, and highly improved data sharing. Definitely lock this specific list into your memory for exam day. It is a fantastic cheat code for sure. Which brings us to Section 6, Board Exam Cheat Sheet, Score Full Marks.
All right, if you get a 1-marked question asking for definitions, you can confidently nail them now. Data, raw facts. Information, process data. Database, the organized collection. And DBMS, the software manager, easy. For a 2-mark question on advantages, fast retrieval, better security, reduced redundancy, easy modification. Real-life examples? Just think of your everyday life. School, bank, hospital, railway. You've got this.
Now what about the big ones? For 3 marks on the need or role of a DBMS, just explain that ultimate middleman managing modern chaos we talked about earlier. And for that massive 5-mark question, honestly, don't panic. Just tell a story. Tell the story of our student Rahul. Explain how his raw marks are data, his sentence is information, his class list is the database, and the school software is the DBMS. Tell that simple story and you will score full marks.
So you are now fully equipped with the fundamentals of Chapter 2. But before we wrap up, I want you to think about this. We know the modern DBMS is virtually perfect. But what came before it? How exactly does the modern DBMS absolutely crush the old, outdated file management system that we used to rely on? Well, that is exactly the mystery we're going to unravel next time. Thanks so much for exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.